Okay, now that we've got page 1 completed, we can move on to page 2. So what we're going to do is, to make our lives a little bit easier, we're going to go here and click clone. And we're just going to clone the page in this website. Usually takes about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, sometimes longer. It depends on how big the site is. So now you've got the main page and the main page clone. Looks like I spelled page incorrectly. Got a little squirrely bracket in there. It doesn't really matter. But this is going to be the second one. So let's change the name of this. And we're going to change that to, under settings, click the triple dot in settings. And this one is going to be the Medicare page. And we're going to change this path to Medicare and click update. Give it a minute or so. All right, so now we've got the main page. Let's fix that title also because that's driving me a little bananas. And click update. There we go. So now we have a main page and a Medicare page, and we're going to click edit here. So now, obviously, we want some different information on this page than what we had on that main page, right? So if you remember, we go back to our build a website in the weekend, kind of the idea was to put an image here, Medicare text, image, Medicare text, over here, image, Medicare text, right? So let's do that. We're going to go back here. And the only thing we really want to keep on this page is the header and the footer. So everything else in between we can get rid of. So I'm just going to delete this section, delete this section, delete this section, and I can delete this section also. This section I'm just going to keep it here because I can just reuse a section. I don't need to drag another one in here. And the first thing we're going to do is Medicare, right in the center. Medicare Solutions, right? And then we want to add a second row. And this row is going to be 2 columns. And one side is going to be the image. So we've got an image here, and then the other side is going to be the text. So we're going to add an image on this side. And this side is going to be text. And for the text, we might want to do a headline, and then we might want to do a sub, and we might want to do some paragraph text. Now these, I don't want them to be center justified. I'd like them to be left justified. So over on the right-hand side, I'm going to text align this on all 3 of these to the left justification. Next thing I want to do is I want to have this at the top, to this side to be aligned with the top of this. So we're going to click on the purple or lavender box, and down here, the content spacing, I'm going to go left, and that'll pop it up all the way to the top. Now you can also do content position, start, enter, or end, or center. We're going to leave it as the default for this because we've got the content spacing here. And here's where I would add my first, blurb about, Medicare. So this might be Part A. And then you would have some information. This is your hospital. Now, don't forget anything you put through on this. Before you go public, you need to get CMS to approve it. So make sure you're following CMS guidelines. Then over here on the left-hand side, we're going to change that image, and we're going to go to background images, and we could just pull this one in. And let's pull that one in. And then obviously you want to remember we went to ChatGPT and we typed in a paragraph about Part A. So let's do that again. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT or openai.com, create an account, and then you can say, write one paragraph explaining Part A of Medicare. And just let it go out. There you go. And you copy this and you put it back into here. And you just replace this text right there. Could not be easier, guys. Looks like I got a couple extra spaces in the beginning. So clean that out. There you go. You might want to clean up the spacing. It's a little bit high. You might want to increase the size of the text since we're dealing with a lot of older people here. But you can just click there, and instead of font size 14, 20 is usually a good one. There you go. And there you go. Now we want to do a second row, and the second row would be a 2-column row also. And we're going to be adding a couple of these, right? Part A, B, C, and sup. So we're going to add a second column and a third. There you go. So part A, part B, part C, part D, and med sup. Now, what I typically like to do is go back and forth so it's not in a row. So I'm going to add an image over here, and then I'm going to add an image here, and then I'm going to add an image here, and an image here. Next thing I want to do is add some text here. So we wanted to add a headline, subheadline, and paragraph. And again, we're going to left justify these. And for that one, we wanted to make it 20-point font. And then what I like to do is I just like to copy these. So I'm going to need it a couple more times anyway, so just drag and drop. Makes it a little bit faster. And copy and paste this one. There you go. And then copy and paste this one. And we can rearrange those later. I'll delete this one. There you go. And put that one in the spot and put that one in its spot. Okay. Now we need to fill up these next two. So let's copy and paste this one. And I'll move that down here and put this one. Oops, looks like I got a couple messed up here. So let's move this one to here. I'll just drag and drop this one here. And drag and drop this one here. Looks like I missed the box when I created it last time. There you go. And then I can just copy and paste this one. And get this subheadline in there too. All right, so starting at the top, we have part A, and this is going to be part B. This one's going to be part C. This one's part D. And this is Medigap. Okay, so then you would just create a subtitle for this or an action, small caption, action headline. Go back to ChatGPT and ask it to write one paragraph about, write one paragraph about part B, then write one paragraph about part C, and then one paragraph about part D, and one paragraph about Medigap. Right, and even though I spelled it incorrectly, it'll do it properly. And just give it a few seconds and it'll be done. Alrighty, so now I can just copy this. Go back to the page here. Where's my page? Here it is. And go back to here. Here's part C. Obviously, I haven't proofread this. Haven't done anything except for run it through ChatGPT and copy paste, right? So before, this is just a warning, ChatGPT is really good, but it's not perfect. So read through it, make sure it follows all the rules and CMS, compliant and all that stuff, right? So you got to follow those things too. Just because it's really smart, ChatGPT does make mistakes. So you just got to go through it. So we got all three here. Keep on pulling in these extras. So the next thing I want to do is replace all these images. So I'm going to go back and choose a couple different images here. Obviously, you might want to go through these and make them a little bit more relevant. So for Part D, since that's about drugs and prescription medications, you may want to, put something with some prescription in there or something like that. I'm just kind of, taking whatever images I found and throw them in there. Medigap, since this is a supplemental one, you may want to do something specific to that. All right, so now we got all our images in place and we're good to go. Now, I like to get a quote on every single page, right? So I make sure that I do that. And what I would like to do is either in the middle of the page and at the bottom of the page, I'm just going to add a quick row here. I'm going to add an element for a button. There you go. And actually, I'm just going to copy this button. Probably be easier to move that down and move that to the bottom here. Probably got to move it in phases so I can scroll it. Oop, pulled the wrong one. And we'll delete that one. Don't need that one. Okay. So we can get a quote. I like to make this a different color since we're red, white, and blue. We can add that one as blue. And since it's not in a footer or anything, I want to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to add some margin padding. Add some padding. And let's add 20 on the top and 20 on the bottom. Give it a little bit more volume here. There we go. And let's go left and right also. Let's go 80 on that side and 80 on this side. We don't want them to miss it, right? So you can get a quote right there. Okay. Now you can also do subtext and free, no obligation quote. All right. So now, since I made a change to that global section by pulling that, I made a copy and stuff of that button, it's going to say, hey, you made a change to your global section, which can impact all the other pages that this is on. Do you want to do that? I didn't really change anything, so I'm just going to click yes. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to link some of these pages together, right? And the first link we need to do is the navigation. So right up here, we've got home and we've got solutions and about and contact. So under solutions, I want to add a Medicare page. So find my thing here. There it is. And we're going to add, and we're going to call it Medicare. Options. And we're just going to hit a go to page because we're going to choose a page and we want it to go to the Medicare page. And you can option open it up in a new tab. We're just going to leave it in that tab. There's no reason to have two of those tabs open. Now your home button, and we want to put this Medicare under the solutions tab. And remember, this one's going to be indented, so when you go over it, it'll be Medicare options, right? Now you may want to add your options here too. The next one would be life insurance. And that doesn't have a page to go to yet. So as a place filler, I'm just going to put it to the Medicare page. And just a placeholder. And then I'm going to move that underneath solutions also. There you go. And then I'm going to do a health insurance. And that's going to go to a web page again. As a placeholder, I'm just going to do it to the Medicare page. Click submit. Move that under solutions also. There we go. And the last one will be for, I think we had business solutions or business insurance. And as a placeholder, we're just going to put it there too. There we go. And I'm going to quick save that. And again, we made a change to the global section, so we're going to save it. All right. Now, we didn't add any background images or anything because I think visually, I think we have enough going on with the back and forth and the images on one side, the text on the other. So I think we have enough dynamics, if you will, taking place on this site that we don't need to add any additional, right? But then we've got save. Let's check this page out. I'm going to preview this here. And if I roll over here, we've got all these in the drop down. If I click on the Medicare Solutions, now I'm already on the Medicare Solutions, right? But if I go to the Home button, it should bring me back to the main page. All right, so we need to configure that Home button. So let's go back there. And we're going to go to Home and just click this little edit. And that's going to go to a page. And that's the main page right there. And click Submit. And click Save. And Save. And let's preview that again. And we click here, Home. And this should bring me to the home page. There we go. If I go back to the solutions, and these are all going to bring me to the Medicare page. All right, that's working. So now what we can do is just clone this Medicare page and use it for life and health and business and whatever else we want, right? So let's go back to here. And we're going to make sure this is saved just in case. We're going to get out of here. We're going to back out. And we're just going to clone this page. Clone it. And we're going to call this one the life insurance. And go to here and go to settings. And this is going to be the life insurance page. Life page. And rename the path. Life. Update the page. And the next thing you're going to do is clone it again. And we're going to rename this one Health. And rename the path. And the next one is Business. So clone it again. Okay, so now we've got 5 pages. Obviously, we still need to change out the content on these other pages, but at least the placeholders are in place, right? We've got the placeholders there. So now we know that we can go ahead and fix this navigation right here. So the life insurance, we're going to move that to the life insurance page. So we're going to just change this to the life page. We're going to change the health to the health page. And we're going to change the business to the business page. And click Submit. And Save. Again, it's changing the global section, so we need to save that. There you go. Now, the get a quote, what we may want to do is send that to a form, or we could send it, so we could create a form page. So just a page, a blank page with a form on it. Or what a lot of people like to do is send it to a pop-up. And the pop-up options are up here. So there's a pop-up setting icon right here. So that's a pop-up. And then these get built exactly the same way that other pages get built, except that it shows up in a pop-up. So let's add this, And you may want to add a form since that's what it's for. Select your form, and I'm just going to do a life change form. Pick any of these forms. Sorry, it's still loading here. Well, let's choose the Medicare question form. There you go. That looks like a great form. Okay. And then you would fill out your text here. Fill out the form below for a free, no obligation consultation. Spelling errors out here. Probably don't need a paragraph to explain it, but you get the idea. Okay. All right. So then they fill out this form and it goes into the system and you can launch automations from there. Let's see what else we need. So obviously we would go through every one of those pages and change out the content. So under the life page, under the health page, under the business page, we would just go in here and edit these. So this is the life page. And so you type in life insurance. All right. And the first one might be term. Next one might be whole life. Next one might be IUL. And this one might be annuities. And this one is not really needed. So let's just delete it. There you go. Now, obviously, I would go through and change out all the pictures and all the other content, but I think you get the idea of what we're doing here, right? So now we got the life solution. So let's take a peek at this real quick. So we got our life solutions. I go up here, go to Medicare, and we go to the Medicare solutions. We go up here and we go to home, and it goes to home. There you go. All right, so what's the next piece? I think we're almost done here, guys and gals. So all these other pages follow the exact same process. You're just building out different stuff. So this is a headline, and it's got some information over on the left-hand side. You got an image and a different form, right? This one is an image and some text about us on the agency side. This one is just text, 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 a little bit back and forth, and you're changing the background color. We already know how to do that, right? So let's review how to change that background color. If you want to change the background color, you can just click on one of these and change the background color to any color you want. So you can do it that way and give it a little bit of flair if you wanted to. I'm just going to change it back to the transparent background, right? There's all kinds of advanced options. If you go to advanced here, you can add borders, you can add line heights. So this is the line height, right? So it gives it just extra space between the lines. Make it squishy, make it a little bit wider. 1.3 is the normal. And that helps to keep the pictures and the text approximately the same size. They don't have to be perfectly in line, but it helps to keep them approximately the same size. And 1.3 is the standard. So let's move it back to 1.3. All right. Let's save that. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do, and it's the last thing we need to do on this website, is publish it, right? So you still need to create the privacy policy and the terms of service and, do all the linking at the bottom and the linking on the bottom. They're just buttons, right? So they work exactly the same. In fact, in the next video, I'll show you how you can link all the buttons for the footer and stuff. But it works the same way as get a quote. So let's do that in the next video.